morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we're talking some Falinks. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. You see, I've been telling you that I love the new Falinks. I told you it was my favourite card that we've had in quite some time. I meant that very sincerely. Well, the great news is, ladies and gentlemen, that, it's back. Falinks is winning. It's already back. It didn't really go anywhere. You see, the non-V's been out for a month already in Japan, and it has made no waves. No waves have been made. No one's really cared. Unfortunately, a little bit sad, but what can you do? Well, the good news is, ladies and gentlemen, that now that we've got Falinks V, things are changing quite dramatically. And the Pokemon line in this deck really is. It's a Falinks deck. There are 9 Pokemon total in the deck. 8 of them are Falinks. We might as well start off with the V, and I should mention that our translations are a mixture of the lovely David Hockman from limitlesstcg.com/translations and the lovely Antoine Boulet, 2 of our very favourite people. So starting off with a Pokemon V, 160 HP looks terrible, but it's got the ability Iron Wall Formation. All damage done to your Pokemon with Falinks in their name by your opponent's attacks is reduced by 20. Yeah. That means that with 4 of these bad boys out, all of your Falinks take 80 less damage from attacks. Whether they're active or on the bench, whether they're Falinks V or just Falinks, all of them take 80 less damage from attacks. That's going to keep them around a while. So it might look like a 160 HP Pokemon, but it is in fact a pseudo 240 HP Pokemon. Except it's not really that. It's only 240 HP if they one-hit you. If they don't one-hit you, then you're a 320 HP Pokemon. And so on and so forth. The attack is fine, but it's not the one we're looking for. 2 fighting, 1 colourless, 210 damage, and you can't attack next turn. It's not really the reason why we're playing it. It's useful and it's a big attack, and we will use it occasionally, but we're not playing any real energy acceleration here, so things are going to get awkward. No, ladies and gentlemen, what we use instead is the non-V. You see, the non-V only has 90 HP, but again, it should in theory be taking 80 less from attacks. Your opponent has to do 170 to get a one-hit KO on a single prize Pokemon. Gutted. But for 2 colourless energy, it does 30 damage for each of your bench Pokemon with Falinks in their name. Now, it's only bench, not active, but generally speaking, you should be hitting 150. Using this attack, you should be hitting 150 damage pretty much every turn. Attacking mostly with a 90 HP Pokemon that takes 70 less damage from attacks. You're 2-hit KOing almost everything. You'll get some of the lower end Vs and GXs and most non-Vs, non-GXs. You'll one-hit them, and anything that's weak, you'll one-hit. Outside of that, you're basically 2-hit KOing. Now against something like Pikachu and Zekrom, one of the best decks in the format, yes. Against a lot of other decks, no. But you're 2-hit KOing for 2 or 3 prizes. They're going to struggle to 1-hit KO a lot of the time for 1 prize. You should still be winning the prize race. It does also have an attack for 1 colourless energy that lets you search for 2 basic Pokemon, whack them on your bench. If you haven't got enough Falinks out to do decent damage with the attack, bearing in mind it is a basic Pokemon so you can use it turn 1 going second, then this is alright, it will help you search out your remaining Falinks. Life is good. I did say there was 1 more Pokemon, didn't I? Fancy Prism Star. Lets you do an extra 20 damage on all of your Pokemon, your fighting Pokemon, but you're only playing fighting Pokemon, so all of your Pokemon, and that's it. 4 Falinks V, 1 Diancie Prism Star. That is the entire Pokemon line. What else do you need? But the energy is where we start getting a little interesting here. Obviously, we play fighting energy, except it's not actually that obvious. Because you see, fighting energy is only used for Falinks V's attack. Falinks itself doesn't really need fighting energy. Uses colourless. But firstly, you've got Falinks V's big attack, which we will use occasionally. And secondly, we've got Martial Arts Dojo. Martial Arts Dojo says you do an extra 10 damage if you're not behind on prizes. An extra 40 damage if you are. So actually, that's That's going to help quite spectacularly brilliantly. That's going to be very useful. And you want to be playing basic fighting anyway, so you might as well. There's a bunch of colourless decks out there just playing basic fighting for Martial Arts Dojo. You can use it for more than that. Now, we also have Twin Energy. Twin Energy here is great. Twin Energy is 2 colourless energy. That's what it is. That's what it does. 2 colourless energy when attached to a non-GX, non-V. Otherwise, it's just 1 colourless energy. And this is essentially how we pay the attack cost of Falinks in one go. Twin Energy. Now, we got some other tricks in a moment. We'll get there. You can only play 4 of them. And then we get a little bit awkward after that. But again, we got a few tricks. We'll get there in a second. But this is absolutely vital for just making sure that you've always got, or at least often got, a way to just pay this attack cost in one go. You are reducing damage done to you, which is great. You are doing a decent, if not spectacular, amount of damage, but you need to be attacking every turn. Otherwise, you won't win the prize race. Twin Energy is great. We also play Capture Energy here. Capture Energy is phenomenal. You attach it to a Pokemon and you get to search your deck for a basic Pokemon and put it on your bench. And this is a deck where you need 4 Falinks V, 2 Falinks, or 4 Vs, 1 regular, 1 Diancie, or some combination thereof. Remember, the 4 Vs are very important so that you take the 80 less from attacks. Won't be relevant, I suppose, in every matchup, but certainly something to consider. So here, Capture Energy helping you get your basics is phenomenal. Now, I keep talking about these energy tricks. As we move on to trainers, let's talk about them. We play 3 cards which are going to help us out here. We play Counter Gain, we play Karate Belt, and we play Beady. Now, Counter Gain reduces your attack cost by 1 colourless energy if you're behind on prizes. It turns your Falinks' attack into a single colourless energy attack. That is extremely useful and very interesting and very nice, and we're going to want to use it. Hopefully, there'll be the odd turn where you're behind on prizes where you can use this, and other than that, you'll be able to just use Twin Energy, but this gives you a really nice option. As for Karate Belt is again if you're behind on prizes, but now it is only reducing your attack cost by 1 fighting energy, which is a slightly weird one. This one is only used for your big attack on Falinks V. Doesn't do anything for Falinks, that's entirely colourless energy. This is for Falinks V, and I make no bones about that. I told you you're not going to use that big attack often, and I meant it. But that doesn't mean we're not ever going to use it. Remember, it does 210, you add in either a Martial Arts Dojo or a Diancie Prism Star, and all of a sudden you're up to 220, and when you're hitting 220, down goes Zacian V in 1 hit. It's a useful attack. And now it's a fighting and a colourless. Except this is probably where we should talk about Beady. Beady comes in and lets you attach an energy, a basic energy from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon. So what you can actually do here is basically go Counter Gain or Karate Belt, attach for turn Beady, and you can actually, if you're behind on prizes, be using Falinks V attack for a single attachment, essentially. You can get it rolling in a single turn. That's pretty gosh darned important. Now, in terms of Pokemon search, we're only playing Quick Ball, but of course it's incredibly relevant to note that we are playing Capture Energy, and that is going to help very, very much here. That is going to make a huge difference. Now, we do play Martial Arts Dojo as our stadium of choice. It is worth pointing out very quickly that Martial Arts Dojo is brilliant when combined with Diancie Prism Star. I told you that Falinks does 150 most of the time, and that's true. But with a Martial Arts Dojo, you're actually doing 190 if you're behind on prizes, 160 if you're not. Remember that you cannot use Diancie Prism Star normally, because yes, Diancie Prism Star will mean you do an extra 20 damage, but Falinks does 30 damage for each bench Falinks. So to put a Diancie on your bench to do 20 more with Falinks, you've got to take a Falinks off your bench and do 30 less. You have been warned. We do play a copy of Air Balloon here, which gives us free retreat. Now, your regular Falinks has a retreat cost of 1, your golden, but Falinks V has a retreat cost of 2, and Diancie Prism Star has a retreat cost of 2, so Air Balloon is the way to go. And we actually play 4 Acrobike here. And the reason we play 4 Acrobike is incredibly simple. Speed. It is all about the speed here. Speed is what we're looking for, ladies and gentlemen. Speed is what we're going for. You see, you need your 6 Falinks out. Acrobike helps. We play 3 copies of Switch, because sometimes you want the big attack with the V, sometimes, most of the time, you want the slightly smaller attack with the regular, and sometimes your opponent's dragged the wrong one in the active. We play Tool Scrapper to get rid of tools, that's out now. We play 1, expect most decks to play 1. We've got Ordinary Rod, which we play to recover our Falinks. Very, very important, of course, because you need basically 6 Falinks for the game. Outside of when you are relying a little bit more on Falinks V. But even so, you need your Falinks. Very, very important. So I think it's fair to I think it's fair to play a couple of these. Try and make sure we've always got the 6 Falinks. An Ordinary Rod does that very, very nicely indeed. Great Catcher is our gusting of choice because we don't have much room for much else. 1 Great Catcher isn't great, but it's all right. Except it's not just 1 Great Catcher, because let's not forget Boss's Orders is legal now. And we play 2 copies of that. Boss's Orders is just Lysander. And in the same way I expect Tool Scrapper to be featured in basically every deck moving forward, I also expect Boss's Orders to be featured in every deck moving forward. Unless we can find a deck that's got a really, really good reason to not want to play it as a supporter. Yeah, we're definitely going to be playing that. In terms of other supporters, we've got Cynthia, we've got Marnie, we've got Professor's Research. They are the 3 best supporter cards we've got at the moment. You're seeing them in basically every deck. You will continue to see them in basically every deck. They are the best supporters we've got. Although do remember that Lily isn't actually legal in Japan at the moment, so maybe outside of Japan you might want to chuck a Lily or 2 in. And 1 Erica's Hospitality. It's another nice draw card. If your opponent's got a large bench and you've got 4 or fewer cards in hand, and a lot of the time you will because there's lots of items and lots of basic Pokemon, you can draw a card for each your opponent's Pokemon in play. That's quite good. And then we've actually got 2 copies of Sonia, which is not a card we expect to see coming out in every single deck over in Japan and over here. It's a good card, but it's not one we're expecting to be in every deck. You search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon or 2 basic energy and put them into your hand. I mean, look, we've talked over and over again about the need to get all 6 Falinks. This just helps you out there. Oh, and 1 copy of Reset Stamp because it's Reset Stamp. It's a one of in every deck. Put your opponent down to a hand size equal to their remaining prizes, hopefully 1 or 2. Then you win, and life is good. I love this deck. I absolutely adore this deck. And I'll tell you what, I think it's legit. This is the first weekend it's been legal. And all of a sudden we're seeing it win. We're seeing it do really well. And it seems like a deck which has got staying power. It's got that brilliant combination of hard to KO and gives up 1 prize and does decent damage. It's not the tankiest deck you've ever seen. It's not the most aggressive deck you've ever seen in terms of raw damage, but it is absolutely a deck that's got a really good chance of being really good moving forward. I love it, and you should too. Shout out to the lovely Code 64X and TaloniteX over on Twitter, who did send me deck lists. Those guys are awesome. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to know what you think about this deck, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. Or you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but are awesome and we love them. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.